debate.
It is indeed. Now, at the beginning of this month, Matt Campbell was back in the High Court in the continuing effort to force the British government to hold a proper inquest into the death of his brother Jeff. Jeff died in the North Tower of the World Trade Center on the 11th of September 2001, and his remains were identified through DNA analysis in 2002, 2004, 2008, and 2013. The coroner's original findings stated that at 8:46 a.m. on the 11th of September 2001, the deceased was on the 106th floor of the North Tower of the World Trade Center when an aircraft was deliberately flown into the building, causing its collapse at 10:28 a.m. This event was part of a coordinated attack by the Islamist militant group Al Qaeda. The Campbell family, that's the end of the quote, sorry, the Campbell family, of course, disputes this finding and alleges that substantial evidence was not considered by the coroner. And as a result, they've been campaigning to have a new inquest held, including taking the Attorney General to court. So I'd like to welcome Matt Campbell to the programme. And Matt, the first question I have is what happened in the latest court hearing?
Well, they didn't do judgment on the date, on the 18th of June. They handed down a judgment on the 1st of July, and we lost, which, we kind of half expected. The day went very well for us. Certainly, there was two judges. One of the judges was very on side, I think, with the arguments they were making. But essentially, they have made a ruling and said that they're tied by precedent set in a higher court, in the Court of Appeal, some years back, going back to 1978. And whilst it's obviously disappointing that, that decision has been made in that ruling, we kind of expect in the ruling that there'd be some positive noises towards what we were trying to do, so that would be a route for us to go and appeal. But they kind of made it really easy for us by basically saying, if I just read the relevant section from the judgment, it said, in our judgment, the combined effect of Gurrier, Ide, and Ex parte Taylor, they're the cases that set precedent, it is that it is not now open to any court below the Supreme Court to decide otherwise, however anomalous this may seem in the light of the rest of modern law of judicial review. And that language is really important. I mean, anomalous is actually mentioned in another section. I mean, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. And what we're looking to do is apply for what's called a leapfrog certificate straight to the Supreme Court, where essentially, as that ruling said, that's the only court that can make a decision on this, completely unencumbered by previous law, that whilst it's in place, it doesn't really have a place in the way that judicial review has evolved and the law around that. So we're, confident that we would get that certificate and we would be able to apply and ultimately be heard in the Supreme Court. And efforts are underway right now, hurriedly, because we have a deadline fast approaching to raise the necessary funds to do that.
I mean, that's a positive piece of news that there's a prospect of getting it to the Supreme Court. My question then would be, how confident are you about how the Supreme Court would look at the case? Do you think that there is a real possibility of a positive outcome?
Yeah, I mean, for the reasons that we argue, but actually they were made in the actual judgment. It's so anomalous to the way that other areas of, say, the Attorney General's decisions, whether prerogative powers or the statute powers, to have something like an inquest not be able to be overseen or looked at by the judiciary just flies against what the judiciary can investigate or can look at, decisions that the Attorney General makes. So, this is certainly an opportunity for the courts to wrestle back some power, much needed power, I think, from, the likes of the Attorney General, who obviously change with every single government.
Sorry. Have you got any thoughts on this?
Well, I just wanted to get Matt's comment on this. I mean, Matt, for you and your family, this has been a long, long road, and you've been through so many different legal proceedings and attending all these hearings, all the preparation, all the lawyers and solicitors you've been working with. What's this been like for you and your family? How difficult has this been over the years?
it's just difficult because it keeps going on. I mean, it's dragged on so long. I mean, I first started thinking about opening my brother's inquest about 6 months after we had it in 2013. My mum's always been very supportive. I mean, my entire family, but she was there in the High Court. It was a week before her 80th birthday. I don't think she expected to be there trying to fight for truth and justice for my brother, a week before her 80th. It's crazy.
Yeah, incredible.
Yes. Okay. Well, look, Matt, I think we'd like to wish you all the best with this. How do people find out more?
I've on X, Matt Campbell 911. Otherwise, if you go to the International Centre of 9/11 Justice, that's ic911.org. They cover what I've been doing pretty well. Lots going to happen in the next few weeks, so yeah, fingers crossed we can get that certificate and apply to the Supreme Court.
Brilliant, thank you, and we should absolutely recognise the support of ic911.org. If you haven't seen the ic911.org website, please do. We've held events with them in the past, and we will be in the future. So we'd like to wish you all the best, Matt, and you keep us posted on how things are going.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks.
Okay, where does that take us then? We'll head to the ad break, and if so, we'll say if you like what the UK Column does, you'd like to support us, please have a look at the front page of the UK Column website. You'll see a link there to a page that will give you all the details. Once again, a massive thank you to everybody that's supporting us financially, but if you can't do that, at least share the material if you possibly can. So that's that. Now tonight at 7 p.m, the weekly banter with Charles, myself, and Jerm will be live. So join us for that if you can. It's another interesting conversation. And yesterday's interview with Michael Yon is on the website now. The question is, who's running the jungle? If you didn't see that yesterday, it's available for on demand for now. And then the final thing to mention today is the UK Column on Location event taking place on Saturday, the 18th of October 2025. The tickets will be available from the end of this month on the 20th of July. That's a Monday. So keep that date in your diary as well. And hopefully we'll see as many people as possible there too. Okay, now